You will have to forgive me if I am rusty, because I am rusty. I may or may not have forgotten how exactly to do this. But hello, I hope you're well. Welcome or welcome back to my channel in what is hopefully my official return to Booktube, which I know I've attempted multiple times, but we're gonna get into why I think this time will in fact be different. This is kind of the obligatory, let me give you a life update, tell you what I've been up to, why I disappeared, slash why I've decided to return now, as well as, what to expect from this channel going into the future. So yeah, a lot of ground to cover, but for those of you who may have forgotten who I am, because it's been that long since I've appeared in your feed, my name is Brittany, the booktuber on Literarily Smitten. I read a lot of history, both historical fiction, nonfiction history books, classics, especially the Russians. You know, I have a soft spot, rather, for Tolstoy. A smattering of romance books as well as just other genres. But I'm definitely your historical fiction and history book aficionado, or I was. So that is more or less what you should expect to see on the channel going forward. Let's go into life updates. So as I mentioned, I've attempted to come back to Booktube a few times now. So I started this channel in 2020 and I was really consistent with my posting for about 2 years. And then I had kind of a series of life changes that left me feeling a little bit stressed slash overwhelmed slash burnt out, which led to reading slumps and just not being able to find time within my own schedule to, not only read, but also to do everything that's required for Booktube. So planning out videos, sitting down to record them, and then, editing them, scheduling them, etc. But the first major change, which led to my kind of first absence, was buying a home by myself, which happened in May of 2022. I can't believe it's going on 3 years now. But the house hunt, moving, and then getting used to, having all of the responsibilities of a home and living on your own made a huge difference. So the first year was really just trying to survive. But then let's fast forward kind of to my last attempt, 2024. I think I tried to come back around this time last year as well. And realistically, I don't think I really understood how burned out some of the circumstances in my life at the time had left me. The main one was my job. I had been at the company for just a little over 8 years, and it was a great ride, but in the last, I want to say, 18 months to 2 years, it really started to feel quite toxic to me. I felt undervalued. I was being moved from department to department. My title was changing. My responsibilities were changing. I was just feeling very demoralized. And because of that, I knew I needed to get out. I needed to find a job. Well, if you've searched for a job in the current job market, you will know that it's basically like the Colosseum. You are a gladiator. It is a full-time job in and of itself, but it is very cutthroat. So I was waking up at 5 a.m., working on certifications, applying to jobs until I logged into work at 9, working a full day, sitting down after I'd worked a full day to continue working on certifications and continuing to apply. And, you'd apply to dozens, if not a couple hundred jobs, and you might hear from a handful of them. And if you were lucky enough to get interviews, which I did, they were 3, 4, 5 rounds of interviews. In some cases, I had to do written work as well. It was a lot. And it left me feeling very burnt out and, You know, there was a light at the end of the tunnel. I am now at a PR and marketing agency that I love, working with incredibly talented men and women, working with a variety of clients on a variety of projects, and I couldn't be happier. But basically, at the time, I was struggling with how that was impacting me. My mood was impacting my home life, my relationship with my family, my friends, but also my relationship with myself. I wasn't feeling my most confident. So, with all of that, it probably wasn't the best time to come back to Booktube, if I'm being entirely honest. But I missed it and wanted to, and so I tried to make it work. And then when I got the new job, that's a transition. You know, I went from being the person who knew where all the bodies were to suddenly not knowing how to log into certain programs and needing to ask everyone, like, hey, who do I go to for this? Who do I go to for that? That all happened in April. And then a month later, I decided, Brittany, that wasn't enough change. Oh no. No, no, no. You're gonna adopt a dog. Nope, not a dog, a puppy. Which is not all that dissimilar from having a baby, as I would learn. So I adopted my heartstring, my little Memphis, my German Shorthair Pointer mix, from a rescue, but it was completely unplanned in the sense that, yes, I knew I wanted to adopt a dog. That is something I'd said since I bought this house. I had gone through the process of getting approved for adoption with this rescue so that when the time came, I would be able to go ahead and do that. But I didn't plan to adopt him on that day. But I met him, I played with him, and knew there was no leaving without him. So I brought him home, and that was also a transition. So I'm finally at a place where he's still hyper, he's still my little chaos demon, as I call him, but you know, we have a routine. He's currently sleeping right next to me on the floor. I don't want to wake him, but I'm sure you will see Memphis crashing a ton of videos in the future. But all of this to say, I had a lot of life changes with the house, the job, becoming a dog mom, and just, you know, the usual. Lots of other stuff going on in my personal life. It was just a lot, and it left me feeling really burnt out. So that is where I've been. The reason I want to come back is primarily because I miss this community. You know, I spent 2 years building this community of subscribers and people who might not be subscribed to the channel but watch my videos regularly, the other booktubers in the community, and I miss that. I miss having that camaraderie. I miss being able to really participate and continue those relationships. I also miss being able to talk books the way I was. It's not something that I have in my own personal life. There's no one who's quite as book crazy, with the exception of Katie, who I met through Booktube, that I can talk to about books in this sort of fanatical way. So I missed all of that. I missed the creation of the videos. But I also feel like I am in such a better place right now than I had been. I feel, you know, more centered, more like myself. Work might be hectic at times, but I'm not feeling burnt out. I'm not feeling undervalued. I have my support system around me. I have Memphis, and I've started reading again. So this is all to say, I feel like it is officially the right time to come back. Reading doesn't feel like a chore. The idea of being on Booktube excites me, and I have all sorts of ideas on what I want to do. So that is why I'm attempting this for the 3rd time? Something like that. So what can you expect from my channel going forward? I think one of the reasons why I'm hoping that this return is different from the previous attempts is because of a major mindset shift within myself. You know, I'm a perfectionist. I was putting a lot of pressure on myself for the Booktube channel. So even when I came back and when I was kind of doing vlog style because that's what I thought I would be able to manage, I was putting a lot of pressure on myself, which then made me feel burnt out and uninspired. But the mindset shift is, being a little bit more realistic about what I am able to do and manage and not getting too hung up on the perfectionism and some of those details. And what I mean by that is, when I started the channel, it was a pandemic, so no one was going anywhere. I had plenty of time to read. My job was different. I didn't have a dog then. I didn't have a house then. So it's understanding that while I'm going to be trying to do weekly uploads, there might be weeks where I just can't manage it, and I have to be okay with that. Also understanding and accepting that I'm probably not going to be someone who is reading 8, 9, 10 books in a month. And there might be months where I read 1 or 2 books, and that has to be okay with me. That doesn't mean that I can't create content. It just means that, my wrap-ups might be like single book reviews or 2 books rather than the amount I was doing before. And those are all things that I feel like I've come to accept. But as for what you guys can expect on the channel, as I said, I am planning to do weekly uploads on Sundays. I don't know what time of day, so if you have a preference, I would love to know that. And, as I'm planning out my content, one of the things that I am trying to avoid is the stress that causes burnout and leads to reading slumps. So in coming up with the content for this channel, for now at least, I'm not planning to do, monthly TBRs in the traditional sense. I'm going to be a mood reader for a little bit. I mean, I might, decide for Women's History Month, I'm doing, books about historical women or something like that, have a theme. But I'm not going to be filming a TBR to talk through because then I feel the pressure to get through all the books in the TBR or as many of them as I can, and I don't want that stress. We're all about being chill this time around. Similarly, I love readathons, but for now, I'm not planning to participate or host any readathons just because, again, it adds this pressure on me to read as many books as possible, and I just want to enjoy reading. So I'm just gonna read for the sake of reading and talk to you guys about the books that I just so happen to read. That's, I think, the overall approach that I'm taking to this channel. I'm gonna try to do primarily sit-down videos like I did the first time around, this type, talking to the camera and to you. There might be a smattering of vlogs in there if there's something interesting to vlog. But I know that that's not necessarily content that my subscribers were that into. So I want to do more sit down videos like this, as long as Memphis, who's currently sleeping, behaves. That's the plan, at least. Probably in this same position in front of my bookcase because aesthetics. So yeah, that I think kind of covers everything. I hope. Giving you a life update, probably more of a life update than you really cared for. I'm excited to be back, or to hopefully be back. I've planned out, I think, videos through the end of February already. So I'm excited to start filming all of those. I have now blathered on for I don't even know how long. I said this video wasn't going to be long, and here we are. That is getting you up to speed on where I've been and what this channel will look like going into the future. I'm really hoping that I see some familiar faces in the comments, and hoping that I see some new faces as well. So if you are new to this channel, please hit that subscribe button. As I said, there will be videos on Sundays going forward, but I'm gonna let you go. Thank you so much for watching. I will see you next time. Bye!